y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess, and today we're in my kitchen, and y'all, we're going to be making Rosemary Focaccia. It's a bread mix in a jar. It's going to be a gift in a jar. Easy way to remember the Italian word is to say Focaccia. So anyway, we're going to do this recipe. I've multiplied it out because I'm doing it for gifts in a jar, and it's easier for me to do 6 as it is to do 1. So we're going to get in here, but I'm going to tell you the ingredients. The recipe comes from anoregoncottage.com. I'll link that below because there's a printable tag with the recipe on it that you can print and use on your gifts. Rosemary Focaccia bread mix in a jar will make a wonderful gift. Here is the recipe for 1 jar. 1 cup of bread flour, 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour, 1 tablespoon instant yeast, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons dried rosemary crushed if you want it crushed, 1 teaspoon red pepper flakes are optional, and another optional ingredient that I added is parsley, so you would also use 1 teaspoon of parsley. This will make 12 squares or 1 pizza crust. And for the label, you're going to say 1 jar of focaccia bread mix, 1/2 cup of warm water, 4 tablespoons of olive oil divided, and then the cooking instructions and so forth will be on that little card that you attached to your jars. Also, if you don't have bread flour on hand, you can make it yourself at home, and I'll leave the recipe to that in the description box below. I've already made up a batch for my husband and I, and of course I probably won't be eating it, but that's what the dough will look like. And I'm going to let this rise, and then I'm going to get it cut up into squares and let it rise a second time, get it in the oven later on, and have it for supper tonight. So I'm going to bring you down, let you see what I'm doing, and this smells so delicious. Just smelling that smells delicious. All right, I have measured out 6 cups of the bread flour. I'm going to go ahead and get this in my bowl. We're going to measure out our whole wheat flour, which is 3 cups. Get my bay leaves out of the way. Okay, I've got my 3 cups. Go ahead and get that in my mixing bowl. I don't need my measuring cups anymore. We're just going to set them aside. I am going to keep my little measuring cups though, because I'm going to be putting flour into my jars. I'll set this back here. Okay, equipment you're going to need a whisk. You're probably going to need a wooden spoon. You are going to need some measuring cups, maybe a tablespoon, a 1 cup measure, a 6 cup measure, and a 3 cup measure. So for the next ingredient, I'm going to go ahead and add in my yeast, and I've multiplied it out, and it comes to 6 tablespoons of active yeast. So I'm going to go ahead and get that sprinkled all over my flour. Then I'm going to add in my sugar. I need 6 tablespoons of sugar. If you got any clumps, you want to break them up. Then I'm going to add in my salt. I'm using canning salt. It's 2 tablespoons of canning salt. Three tablespoons of dried rosemary. You can crush this if you want to. You can buy it already crushed, or you can use it whole. This optional ingredient is red pepper flakes, 2 tablespoons. And my added ingredient is 2 tablespoons of parsley flakes. That is all the ingredients. We're going to take our whisk or your wooden spoon and we're going to incorporate. And I've got another bay leaf in there I don't need. And you may, if you have clumpy flour, you may want to sift it first. I'm going to use my wooden spoon. I want to make sure I'm getting all the way to the bottom. You could take these ingredients and just layer them in your jar. I would layer the yeast and the sugar separated, but you could do that as well. And we have all of our ingredients incorporated. I pulled out 6 pint jars, and we're going to divide the mixture between the 6 pints. And this is where I'm going to hold on to that spoon. I might need it here, but that's where these measuring cups are going to come in handy. So I'm going to start with a cup in each one. And now I'm going to go to a half cup because I'm not sure if I'm going to get another full cup in each jar. But we're going to start with a half cup. I'm actually going to move this bowl out of the way. And we're going to tamper these jars down. So I'm just going to tap the jars to get all of that mixed down into the jar. And 3 of my jars don't look like it has as much in them. I'm going to grab my tablespoon and I'm just going to add flour to each one until we get all of this flour used up. All right. There's a couple of different things that you can do. Make sure that you're wiping the top of your jars if you're using a vacuum sealer with vinegar, and using your used flats that are not bent. If you're going to can them for long-term storage, you may want to throw a oxygen absorber in there. But these aren't going to be on my shelf that long, so I'm going to throw bay leaves in. So if you're putting bay leaves in there, make sure you tell them to discard the bay leaf before they make their mix. Otherwise, you can just follow the directions on the label that she's got made up for you. And all you have to do is print those labels off. So we've got a bay leaf in each jar. I'm going to grab my canning lids. I'm using one-piece used lids today. And you're just going to tighten your lids on there good and tight. And there you are, folks, in the jar. This would be a great gift to pair with red beans and rice. That's what she suggested on the website. Aside for spaghetti, instead of garlic bread, try rosemary bread. Soups as a dinner roll or a dinner side. I think all of these would be really good ideas. Oh my goodness, this stuff is yummy. I took a little bite. I'm going to take another one on camera. But this is a very light bread and it is delicious. It's spicy because I added the red pepper flakes, but if you don't want it spicy, don't add them. And I've got a nice little flatbread here. I could make mini pizzas out of this. I could do a number of things. Mmm. The combination of flavors is just phenomenal. If you want something different on your table tonight, Try this bread mix out, and maybe you'll want to put it on your pantry shelf for your family or for friends. Thank you for watching, and may you be fully blessed.